Today I will be reading the article from Cross and Pen Ministries, Janis Hutchinson. The White Indians of the Americas, do they prove the Book of Mormon? In 1947, Mormons Dewey Farnsworth and his wife Edith published an impressive book that is still in print, The Americas Before Columbus. The authors, without stating their Mormon affiliation, hope to manipulate the public into believing that the story in the Book of Mormon is true, that tells of a white Hebrew family, generally referred to as Nephites, coming to ancient America from Jerusalem in 601 BC. Farnsworth quoted Indian legends about a pre-Columbian white race and used pictures of Central and South American ruins, hoping to prove their connection to the Book of Mormon people. He also included photographs of the white Chibutuli Indians discovered deep in the Amazonian jungle, 3 of which were brought to the U.S. in 1924. Experts examined them and concluded they were not albinos, but a throwback to a white race. Mormons were elated. This confirmed to them that the white Nephites, even the earlier Jaredites from the Tower of Babel, were not only the pre-Columbian white race mentioned in the legends of the indigenous people, but insisted that the Chibutuli Indians were the descendants of the Nephites. All in all, the Book of Mormon was validated. Even today, Mormons refuse to consider the real identity of the white visitors who came to this continent. The objective of this article is to present archaeological evidence that negates the Mormon claim and suggests who the white visitors really were. This is a Christian blog with biblically themed articles. It also includes respectful articles on the errors of Mormonism. If you would like to be automatically notified each time a new article is posted, please contact me. And then she states her last article, LDS Deception in Latin America. These are some photos of the Darien Indians, father and his 2 white children, Indian mother and her 2 white children, and there are more photos more down below. First, important notes before you start. Hang in there, we'll get to the good stuff soon. LDS and Mormon will be used interchangeably. Both will refer to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and its members. BC and AD will be used instead of BCE and CE. No racial offense is intended by referring to dark-skinned and white-skinned people. Mention of artifacts and mummies that indicate a pre-Columbian white presence may be refuted by a few archaeologists because they cannot bring themselves to embrace the idea that the dark-skinned indigenous people were taught civilization skills by superior whites. A good example of this bias is the attitude toward Thor Heyerdahl's statements about Polynesia being inhabited by Caucasians with blue eyes, red and blonde hair. Mummies were found. He was met with opposition because it was considered racially biased. The word Indian may be used when referring to the indigenous people of the Americas, but be aware that when used today, the term is not considered politically incorrect by the people themselves. They do have, however, their preferred terms. In North America, the United Nations Conference on Indians in the Americas in 1977 chose American Indian instead of Native American, rejecting the latter because of political reasons. Nevertheless, they state that using the single term Indian does not bother them and is acceptable, as also with the preferences below. Their preferred in Latin America, Aboriginal natives. South America, indigenous people. Guyana, Amerindians or Amerins. Indigenous people were referred to the descendants of the ancient Olmecs, Mayans, Toltec, and Aztecs. Reference to three Americas or Americas will refer to North, Central, and South America. Mesoamerica will refer to the regions in the Americas extending from central Mexico to Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and northern Costa Rica, within which a number of pre-Columbian societies flourished before the Spanish colonization of the Americas in the 15th and 16th centuries. The earliest cultures were the pre-Olmecs, 2600 to 2500 BC, the Olmecs, 1600 to 400 BC, the Mayans, 2000 BC, Toltecs, 800 to 1000 AD, and Aztecs, 1000 to 1697 AD. Now on to this exciting subject. There will be 3 parts, each appearing in successive blog posts. I have deliberately done this so as to keep each article short. Although I know this one isn't any shorter than previous ones, but considering the subjects I cover require such an in-depth examination, it almost can't be helped. Nevertheless, I'm trying. For example, just think. I almost included parts 2 and 3 in this article. You're getting off easy. For a preview, here is what each part will cover. Part 1. This article presents archaeological evidence coupled with Indian legends to show that a white, pre-Columbian people did indeed inhabit the 3 Americas. These white people taught the indigenous people civilization skills. Also presented will be the white Chibutuli Indians of Darien, discovered as early as 1542, some of who were brought to the U.S. and examined in 1923, and the possible Book of Mormon connection. Part 2, my next blog, covers the white Guanche Indians, the settlers of the Canary Islands, also Polynesia and Easter Island, and how these white settlers connect to the white race in pre-Columbian America. Part 3 addresses the dark-skinned indigenous people of pre-Columbian America, where they come from, whether they predated white visitors, and if the evidence proves the LDS claim of the Book of Mormon that indigenous people today are of Hebrew lineage. DNA studies will be presented. Special note, while this article focuses on the Mormon belief that Mesoamerica was a site for the Book of Mormon people, I am also aware of the new theory some LDS scholars are promoting, calling the Heartland Model geography. Promulgated approximately in 2003 by Rod L. Meldrum, LDS author and lecturer, and published in his 2009 book, Rediscovering the Book of Mormon Remnant Through DNA. It is in direct opposition to the Mesoamerican location, locating the scenario in the Midwestern United States instead. He derived his new geography from the DNA haplogroup X studies of the Hopewell culture in North America. In view of this new North American location, Meldrum also promotes a new sailing route for Lehigh, an Atlantic Ocean crossing that Milton R. Hunter proposed earlier. LDS church leaders have not endorsed the proposed geography, saying only that Book of Mormon geography is located in the Western Hemisphere. The Heartland Model geography and DNA connection to the Hopewell culture is presented more fully in EndNote number 1. This article will cover the following. What is the Book of Mormon? Is there any archaeological evidence for a white race in ancient America? Were the Book of Mormon Nephites really white? Who came first to the Americas, white or dark-skinned people? What do Mormon scholars say about indigenous people being on the American continent before the Nephites' arrival in 601 BC, or even the Jaredites at time of Tower of Babel? Does the date of the Mayan culture coincide with the Book of Mormon? What do Mormon scholars say about Farnsworth's book, The Americas Before Columbus? Do the dates of the Olmec culture, predecessors of the Mayans, coincide with the Book of Mormon? Who were the bearded, white-skinned, blonde, and red-haired people who arrived by boat and taught high civilization skills to the indigenous, dark-skinned people of the Americas? We'll continue in part 2.